Thank you for joining us today. So let's just start very quickly with GST 2.0. Zorarwar, your thoughts, keeping your sector in mind, hospitality and food?
So whenever there is, good evening all, great to be here amongst this august company. Whenever there is a tax cut or GST reform, it's not just a cut in taxes, it's actually a growth and consumption accelerator. India is the only large economy in the world where 63% of our entire GDP is domestic consumption, so it's huge. More money in the pocket, reduction in complexity, it's fabulous. It's easy to file taxes, it's easier to pay for them. However, I think our industry, for some reason, does not get to experience the benefit of input tax credit. Now, we are the second largest employer of human capital in India after agriculture. 10 million people directly employed, another 10 million through ancillary means. We also contribute between 2 and 3% to the country's GDP. And we are now compounded annually growing at a rate about 11%. When the GST regime came about in, I think, June of 2017, the compounded annual growth rate was 22%. So it's come down to half for the organized sector and about 8% for the disorganized sector. That being said, I think we're very happy about some of the changes that have been incorporated now. So it's not all gloom and doom, it's very good. I think any reduction in complexity, any reduction in tax rates will put more money in the hands of the consumers, and that'll funnel its way down to us. The good thing is, and this is good trivia for you all, Indians love eating out more than any form of entertainment. The Indian F&B sector is 40 times larger than Bollywood, and Indians spend almost 40% of their gross disposable income on eating out. So we will probably be a direct beneficiary of added money in the hands of consumer. We'll also be a direct beneficiary in some of the input costs that we're going to face, no doubt about it. Ghee, bread, milk, meat, cheese, dairy products, parathas, as somebody mentioned before me, or ACs, utensils. So there'll be a fit-out cost benefit that we'll face, and they will obviously face a benefit in input costs, which happens to be our highest cost. But the problem is some of the key things that affect us are still not fully, the benefit is still not fully accruing to us because we don't get input tax credit. For example, and my dear friend Pushpa is sitting next to me, after food, the largest cost for the restaurant sector is occupancy cost. Occupancy cost is still charged at 18%, which means I'm technically paying a fifth higher in rent and I cannot get a credit. So in essence, when I measure per square foot rates, 500, 400, 300 rupees, it's actually not. 400 is actually 480 rupees.
So you're listening to that, huh?
Yes, no, she's my dear friend. So we have this banter on a lot of these forums, and we enjoy each other's company.
For the government.
Yes.
However, the lack of ITC for an industry like ours that is already plagued with razor-thin margins, and also, please understand, the morbidity rate of the food business, the restaurant sector, is the highest in the world. 9 out of 10 restaurants shut down within a month, and 9.6 out of 10 shut down within 18 months. So the margins are very thin. It's not a high-profit sector. And it's also an industry. I really feel that we don't have the industry status yet, but we're big enough to be called an industry. And I think it's very important for us to kind of get the benefit of that. Like I said, any kind of enhancement in consumer spending will funnel its way to us, which will happen because people will now be paying less for some key instruments. However, the full benefit is still not fully accruing to us. And it's so we at the NRI, I represent the NRI, which is India's largest restaurant body. We have about 5 lakh members, and we have an incredibly robust set of driven people that are sending out these reps and warranties to the government, right. And we're very hopeful. I think now the time is right. There are other hotels and restaurants and hotels that get input tax credit. Mm-hmm. We don't get to enjoy that yet.
I'm going to come back to you. Let me give Pushpa a chance as well to come in here. Pushpa, I want to understand from you, Zorarwar just spoke about, more money in the hands of consumers. From a retail perspective, do you expect shoppers to stay cautious and focus on essentials? Or is this a push towards aspirational lifestyles and purchases?
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, before I answer that question, you should grant me that I sit opposite Zorarwar and negotiate with him on rents. That must be a tall order, right?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to back then, yes.
She's a tough negotiator, very tough.
Anyways, well, as far as the the way I look at it is that I represent both CII as well as the shopping industry. And couple of things are very good and few dil mange more. One is, of course, the fact that, yes, there's a general sentiment where people are understanding that there's going to be more cash in their wallet. Discretionary income and spends would increase, and that is a natural fallout of this. The timing is really good from a shopping industry point of view because it's festive season. That's when 60% of our consumption happens during this belt of October to December, January. This is when 60% of our sales happen. So the timing is absolutely bang on. One of the things that I'd like to point out is that while the simplification is highly welcome across sectors. I've been talking to all of my retail tenants. They all say that the simplification and making it just two-tier makes it super simple, and also the back-end calculations become that much more simple. However, the 2,500 for apparel currently is, and footwear, these are the two high consumption items in shopping industry, and that has been given an additional levy from 2,500. If you shop for 2,500 rupees, it is 12%. Anything above 2,500 rupees is 18%. Well, that, as Mr. Sanyal was sitting here, I wanted to walk up to him and say, why 2,500? What was that magic number about? Because I do think that any of us who go shopping, 2,500 for an apparel is going to make it value-centric, but not really aspirational. So one would want that 2,500 number to be relooked at, perhaps, and that would be a request from the shopping industry. However, the fact that there would be an overall sentiment boost, and also the fact that there will be more money in people's wallets, and that will definitely boost overall consumption.
But are you seeing that already in terms of footfalls in malls? Are you waiting for 22nd September to see that huge footfall in malls?
Well, again, I think like the earlier panels were talking about it, there is a lot of, at this point in time, I wouldn't call it confusion, but a certain query on how will the current inventory be tackled. Mm-hmm. They are waiting for that. But beyond that, and I'm sure there'll be clarity given by the government, the shopping period, which really starts from 22nd September, we do think that there will be some more value given, some more value-added discounts passed on, and hence we do expect much more in terms of our sales during the festive period overall.
You know, Zorarwar, a lot of people go out when they have more money in their wallets, right? You've seen that in your restaurants as well. But once GST relief makes eating out cheaper, do you expect families to step into these restaurants more often, or will caution continue in terms of discretionary spending?
You know, it's incredible that you say that. Like I said, we are the number one form of entertainment in the world, and whenever there is affordability in India, and this is an important statement, affordability in India is the gateway to aspiration. It's an absolutely integral element. We are going to add, by 2030, 75 million people into the middle class and 25 million people into the affluent class. So what are these people going to do? They're going to go and eat out. They're going to buy clothes, above 2,500 and below. They're going to go buy luxury cars. I believe some SUVs have faced a reduction in price. They're going to go and buy more air conditioners. I found air conditioning has come down cheaper. I better change the air conditioners in my room. They've been giving me some trouble. Overall, I think whenever there is more money, people will will funnel their energy and money into things they really want and they desire. Now, that's in a way for us as an industry, we're no longer just a want or a desire, we're also a need.
Yes.
Somebody who does not have a kitchen at home, a single person living in Gurgaon, he doesn't have a wife, he's alone, he doesn't have a cook, he's sitting alone. What's he going to do? He's going to order food in? At that point in time, it stops being a want or a desire. It becomes an absolute need.
But if I might just interject there, is it cheaper for me to reach out to your restaurant and call for food home directly now? Or through, platforms like Swiggy and Zomato? It's going to cost more then, isn't it? Isn't that something you should be happy about, given the morbid statistics you've been giving us till now?
You know, I wish the platforms would let us do our own pricing. They always ask for parity or, you know, both the platforms don't sell food yourself cheaper. No, I think it's the prerogative of the restaurant. The restaurant should get to decide. If I want to give you an extra little voucher for a free cocktail or a free starter next time you come, I should be able to do that. So platforms don't necessarily allow that. But I'll tell you this, it is cheaper for you today to order food in than to make it yourself. The delivery side of India is not competing with restaurants. It's competing with your home kitchen.
All right. So I've been told that the finance minister is on her way and I have to wrap this up. But very quickly, before she gets here, what is your message to her from your sector and yours as well, Zorarwar? Let's just keep it all ready for her to know before she enters the hall itself.
Well, the one message is thank you. I think this was something that we were all waiting for, a simplification and as well as boosting the economy. This would definitely boost in the larger sense. And where the shopping industry is concerned, we, as Zorarwar said, we are looking at generating employment. We are the second or third largest employment generators, and we want an industry status sooner than later. So that's something that we would like to talk.
Great insight there. Your wish list, Zorarwar,
So
in a
firstly,
minute.
thanks. I think every time there's a GST slab cut, their complexity is reduced, people have more money, that'll funnel towards us. That's great. Our humble submission to the powers that be, please restore ITs for us. We're one of the very few industries that don't get it. It means the difference between survival or death. I cannot harp on some of my friends are over here, and the restoration of ITC could be the difference between your favorite next door restaurant that you've dined at for a decade, whether it's there for another decade or not.
All right. Thank you so much to our panelists.